Hello everyone and welcome to a video that I am making because this is a video that I'm making. Okay. So this is a Terraria mod that I made that adds a lot of upgrades to existing vanilla weapons. So I have a little UFO ship set up here. So we have two mini short swords here. Our next chest contains bows. Then we get other weapons. And at the end is the singular accessory that this mod adds. So are you ready to see some upgrades? We're gonna check out the others first. So these contain the Omni Wrench, Crystal Ouroboros, and Anti-Shadow Knife. So if we throw the Omni Wrench, you can see it acts like kind of like a boomerang, except also kind of not really. If we summon something to test it out on, you will then see it slams down and explodes when it's above something. So if we summon like a Martian saucer, you can see that these hammers are slamming down onto its guns and parts and stuff and exploding them. Very cool. But that's only the start. The Crystal Ouroboros is an upgrade to the Crystal Serpent. And instead of just firing out like a couple magic bolts that explode or whatever, it instead throws out these Ouroboroses that then continuously spit out magic bolts that explode into more magic bolts. If that sounds ridiculous to you, then that makes sense because it probably is. And then, the last of the other weapons we're going to check out is the Anti-Shadow Knife, an upgrade to the Shadow Flame Knife. So what it does is it deals a lot of damage on hit, much more than the Shadow Knife. And as you can see, it's making pretty quick work of this UFO guy. That's because it can ricochet up to 4 times. And also, because every time it hits something, it applies a status effect called Holy Retribution, which causes their defense to be lowered and for them to take damage over time for 3 seconds. And we just defeated the Martian saucer, and we'll be unable to claim our rewards because I have the encumbering stone so that I don't pick up unwanted items. Alright, clear dropped items. The way you craft the Omni Wrench is using the Combat Wrench, Cobalt Bars, and Fallen Stars. The Crystal Ouroboros is made out of the Crystal Serpent, Hollowed Bars, and a hook. And the Anti-Shadow Knife is the Shadow Flame Knife, Souls of Light, and Chlorophyte Bars. So that's it for the others. Now we move on to the bows, but before we move on to the bows, I just want to grab some arrows first. Specifically Luminite arrows. Because, well, obviously bows need arrows. So the first 2 we have are the evil bows. Well, the upgraded evil bows. The Devil Bow and the Vein Bow, which is a pun on rainbow made by my friend. The Devil Bow fires an arrow plus an accompanying like shadow bolt. You can probably see it's easier if I use like wooden arrows instead of luminite ones. So we'll grab our regular wooden arrows and shoot, and you can see there's a little shadow bolt that moves really fast. The Vein Bow is similar, except it fires slower and deals more damage. And its projectiles also travel faster through the air. The projectile speed of the Vein Bow is higher compared to the Devil Bow. But the Devil Bow does fire very fast. And then there's the Super Storm Bow, which is made out of either the Devil Bow, Daedalus Storm Bow, and 10 Vortex Fragments, or the Vein Bow, Daedalus Storm Bow, and 10 Vortex Fragments. Do you want to see what it does? Wow. It wasn't that impressive. Or was it? I say it, or was it, and then it proceeds to deal, like, no damage to King's Time. Okay, I promise you this weapon is good. Okay, look at this Martian saucer. You see how it's alive and stuff? Well, it's not... It's becoming not very alive. It's becoming not alive much faster than any of these other previous weapons have made it not be alive. Although I'm pretty sure the Vortex Beater would take it out way faster than the Super Storm Bow. Yeah. I should probably buff the Super Storm Bow. But regardless, we can see the Super Storm Bow is basically an orbital strike. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. What it does is every time you use it, it fires 4 volleys of these projectiles. 3 arrows that come from the sky and point towards your cursor, 2 arrows that come from the sky and point in random downwards directions, and a lightning bolt that comes directly from above your cursor and strikes directly down towards your cursor, and each lightning bolt can chain up to 4 times. Let's summon, like, 3 King Slimes and a Queen Slime. Yeah, it's destroying them pretty fast. Yeah, it's dealing quite a bit of damage. Why did I become a robot? Why do I sound like a metal machine right now? I don't know why I clarified metal when I said metal machine, but whatever. Alright, so to craft the Devil Bow you need the Demon Bow, 15 Souls of Might, and 2 Corrupt Seeds. And the Vein Bow is pretty much the same, except... what did I just... Okay. And the Vein Bow is pretty much the exact same, except Tendon Bow and Crimson Seeds instead of Demon Bow and Corrupt Seeds. So we'll put these bows back in their chest in the wrong order from when we took them out. I want to show you the short swords area next. First, we're going to check out our singular accessory. The Iron Crown is made from the 2 shackles, a diamond, and an iron skin potion. It gives 2 defense, and when hit, be enchanted with the Iron King's Fury, hitting harder and faster temporarily. So we're gonna find out what that means. We're gonna have to deactivate God mode. Ooh, we got a buff. It meant nothing. Okay. Let's summon, like, the Martian Saucer. Ow! Perhaps I should have given myself a bit more health before doing this. So as you can see, I'm doing okay damage to it right now. But if I get hit... Oh. I died. That's what happened. Okay, I found the best way to show this would probably just be, like, alright, you see this dummy? I get, like, 1,000 damage per second. If I get hit by the slime, you can't even tell the difference because I can't fire for long enough because the buff doesn't last that long. So as you can see, I get around, like, 900 damage per second. Let's summon something like King Slime. Alright, hit me. And now, my damage goes up to, like, around 1,000. Or 1,100, I don't really know, but it goes up to more. That's what happens. So basically, it just buffs you with extra damage and extra attack speed when you get hit for like a couple seconds. That was a lot of time wasted doing the most basic thing. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Ha 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 ha. anyways, we're going to leave my vortex weapons and tools out of my inventory for this one because there's a lot. As you can see, there's quite a bit of short swords in this chest. So the first one is the throwable short sword. It can be made out of copper short sword and wooden bow, or out of a copper short sword and wooden bow. It was meant to be so that you could make it out of either a copper or tin short sword, but I accidentally forgot to make one of the recipes include tin instead of copper, so there's just 2 duplicates of the exact same recipe. So as you can see, let's just get the regular copper short sword for comparison. If we stab this dummy right in its space, we get around 25 damage per second. If we throw the throwable short sword at it, we get around 25 damage per second. So it has the same damage per second, but the difference is that the throwable short sword is of course thrown. So you can use it as like an early game weapon against bosses. So like, you want to fight Eye of Cthulhu, but you don't want to get actual ranged weaponry, just to use the throwable short sword. But wait, it gets better than that, because if we look back at Recipe Browser, you can see there's 3 upgrades to it: the Quick, Ranger, and Sharp short sword. Let's get each of them. The Sharp short sword, oh my god, that is getting really hard to say. Short sword, short sword, short sword. Okay, can this die? So let's make a line of dummies here, so that you can see how much pierce each one has. So if we swap to our sharp short sword, we see it can hit 2 dummies instead of a single one. If we go to the quick one, it throws swords much faster, giving it like 40 damage per second. If we go to the ranger one, you'll see that it has much more projectile speed, so we can hit all the way from over here, I think. Can we? Ah! Oh no, I'm falling. We can hit all the way from, we can hit those ones from all the way over here. If we swap back to like the regular one, we can only reach over to the second one, but with the ranger one, we reach all the way over to like the 6th one, if my, no, 7th or 6th, I forgot. Whatever, endeavor, what am I talking about? And then, those are upgraded further into their tier 2s, the sharper short sword, quicker short sword, and power short sword. The sharper short sword is the sharp short sword's upgrade, and it can hit up to 3 enemies now. Look at how many dummies it's piercing. That's a lot of damage per second, we can see. The quicker short sword is like the quick short sword, which already threw faster, but throws even faster. Look at that, a staggering 37 damage per second. Power short sword is like the ranger short sword, except even more projectile speed. Let's see how far away we can hit the first dummy from. Boom, all the way over here. From all the way over here, we can hit the target dummy. And how far are we? 50 tiles away. So as you can see, the power short sword is very useful. It solves about the only problem that the throwable short sword has, which is low projectile speed, hence low range. And then we get to the tier 3s, which is really where these short swords start to become insane. The first of them is the copper javelin, which is the upgrade to the sharper short sword. The second is the dual short sword, upgrade to the quicker short sword. And the short sword crossbow, upgrade to the power short sword. Copper Javelin deals additional damage and can hit up to 4 enemies. That's a lot of pierce. And then the dual short sword throws 2 short swords at a time, and it also has +1 pierce. So that's a lot of damage per second. If you look at our DPS meter, we're getting like 200 damage per second if we like optimize how many dummies we hit. And then the short sword crossbow. Okay, damn it. I forgot to give it shoot animation instead of throw animation, but the way the short sword crossbow works is it shoots out swords. So now they have increased damage and pierce. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So it's basically the Copper Javelin, but it looks different. And also, wait. Okay, I don't know. Maybe it's because this has way more pierce than... I don't... Whatever, it doesn't matter. I accidentally showed what the first tier 4 is called. And then there's a tier 4s. The first one is the Explosive Javelin. Upgrade to the Copper Javelin. The Explosive Javelin triggers an explosion every time it hits an enemy. So as you can see, we are getting like 400 damage per second when we have a line of 4 dummies. Then there's the Super Broadsword Fan Club, which it has 2 attacks. The main attack, which is left click, when held, will extremely rapidly fire these swords at super high speed. And its secondary attack does this. It sprays 5 swords at once. 5 short swords at once. Although it's right click, so it can't be held, and it also has a little bit of cooldown time. You have to use a couple more regular throws before you can use the ability again. I'm probably gonna have to buff the ability as well, because like maybe increase the damage of the short swords it throws, because it's just objectively less damage per second than the regular attack. And then there's the third path's tier 4, the Sharpshooter, which deals... It has increased fire rate, even more projectile speed and accuracy. Like, if we look at that, that's, like, crazy. And not only that, but it also has increased crit chance, so... It has extremely high damage per second. If I'm not wrong, does it also... Yeah, it also increases damage, just your base damage as well. Well, I guess all of the tier 4s increase damage, but... Yeah. Explosive Javelin is my favorite one of the throwable short swords due to its very powerful explosions. It's very cool how it explodes. The Super Broadsword Fan Club is my second favorite because it's an obvious BT6. Well, I guess the entire throwable short sword is kind of a BT6 reference. That's what it's meant to be. It's meant to be like the Dart Monkey, except short swords that are throwable. The Super Broadsword Fan Club is my favorite because it has 2 attacks, and also just because it throws so fast. The Sharpshooter is my least favorite because it's just like this. I didn't even remember to make it have the shoot animation instead of throw animation, so it looks like you're throwing short swords instead of using the like crossbow or whatever, which is so boring and lame. I'm probably gonna have to nerf the Explosive Javelin a bit, though. Although enough of this testing on target dummies. We're gonna test on a real boss now. Why do I keep doing that? Every time I summon a Martian saucer, I immediately die. Because why am I like this? Alright, summon a Martian saucer now that you're in God mode, and now throw your explosive javelins at it. Also, all of these short sword things are pre-hard mode, by the way. The tier 4s are gotten like with Hellstone bars and Flink Spur. And the tier 3s are gotten using Demonite or Crimtane bars. And the T2s are gotten using Palmwood, and the tier 1s are gotten using just gold coin. So I should probably... I mean, this doesn't seem too overpowered. I say it doesn't seem too overpowered as it's literally melting the Martian Saucer, a very elite hard mode mini-boss in like not a very long amount of time. Also, I encountered a floating island by mistake. How often is that? How rare is that? What is that? I wasn't even trying to find one. I was trying to avoid them, actually. Ha 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 ha! Unleash the barrage! Unleash these barrage! These! Ah, I missed because projectile speed sucks. Sharpshooter! Save me, sharpshooter! Sharpshooter, my single target killer! Get them! Ah! Ah! I'm losing my mind. How about we test on something more like the Destroyer? So we're gonna set time to like night. And now let's summon the Destroyer. How do you think our explosive javelin will fare against something like this? Where are you going? Oh. Explosive javelins, go! I love the explosive javelin. It seems to be very effective. It's especially effective against the pros when they're clumped up. The explosive javelin is good at anything when it's clumped up. Let's swap to the Super Broadsword Fan, but perhaps it can also deal a lot of damage. It doesn't deal that much damage. Sharpshooter! Save me, Sharpshooter! Save me, Sharpshooter! Explosive Javelin! My favorite! Yeah, all these kind of suck on Destroyer. Well, I guess that makes sense for them to suck on any mechanical boss. But now let's try the Super Stormbow, which is an end-game weapon on it. Yeah, that seems pretty powerful. But I have a feeling it could be more crazier. You know how the Daedalus Stormbow is, you know, like pretty good when mixed with Holy Arrows? I guess Destroyer. Oh dear. I mean, what do I say about this? It is what... This is what this is. I mean... What? So yeah, that's this mod that I created. That is so many stars. That is so many stars. I guess that makes sense. Now let's use the devil mode, devil mode, devil mode.